Good morning, YouTube. Let's rise and shine. Episode 34. Heavy is the head for the finale. Yeah, we're gonna finish this up today. Check it out. Let's go ahead and run the intro. Alright, YouTube, welcome to the studio. My name is King Kavo, and this is Velvet Vanitas. We are working on the fourth installment of Heavy is the Head. We have moved a little bit further in this painting since the last time you've seen it. Done a couple little things, little add-on stuff, and we are pretty much going to be finishing up today. Today I'm doing the little final touches. I'll be doing some finishing touches, and then I'll be doing a little bit of glitter on this, and then we're going to call it done. What can I say about this piece? This was an enjoyable piece because I got to apply some fun techniques that I don't really get to use very often in other settings, you know, first of all. I like this piece because I first designed this piece, I put the first outline on it right around the 21st or 22nd of July, if I remember correctly, and I just didn't get a chance to get around to it. I was doing some other things. A lot of things came up in life, and I was dealing with a lot, and at that time I was just working on some other projects and never got around to getting to it. And then in the meantime, lately I found a chance to get to it. And it just so happens that right around the time I started working back on this, the Queen of England passes away. So it was like a little weird thing with that. But this is about a king and not so much a queen. And it really isn't really having anything to do with her passing or anything. But during the process of me painting this, I don't know, I've spent quite a bit of time watching the whole ceremony and all the pomp and circumstances with the royal funeral and the changing of from the queen to king and all that stuff. And you know, it was pretty interesting to watch. Personally, I don't have any real affiliations to Britain other than the fact that my niece is British. She lives in Wales, and I love her very much, and so I'm sure that this actually means quite a bit to her. You know, it's, you know, more than it ever could be my queen. It is certainly her queen that has passed. And so a lot of this has been interesting from the standpoint of feeling what it might be like for my niece and what's going on over there and that sort of thing. Again, you know, the whole reason why I do these things is for the single purpose to have it be a visual reminder. The reason Vanitas even became a thing was as a sort of visual reminder to seize the day, to live your life. You know, that at some point in time or another, we are all going. You know, we are not going to live forever, you know. And as an artist, this kind of is my little way of sort of, you know, poking that, you know. I'm a Scorpio, and so for a good long period of my life, I live my life sort of that way. As a tattoo artist, all my tattoos are scorpion related to one thing or another or what have you. But if you follow things like the tarot cards and stuff like that, you'll know that the zodiac sign associated with Scorpio is the Death card. Basically, I have been in and around my whole life dealing with death. I have always, on some level or another, drawn skulls, been drawn to skulls, or what have you. It's just been who I am my whole life. Artistically, I've come to this place where I'm painting Vanitas for those reasons, because it's something that it deeply appeals to me. It resonates with me on a lot of levels. And it is, like I said, a way where I kind of am poking that, because something, it was a pretty rough last couple of days, right? I was taking care of some business, and I had to stop and put some gas in the ride, and I'm putting some gas in the ride, and the dude's standing there, and he's looking at me, and he sees me for the last year, on a regular basis, you know what I mean? And then today, that particular day, he finally got the courage to be like, "Hey man, what do you do?" And I wish he'd have asked me like 2 months ago, and I'd have been like, "Hey man, I'm in the weed business," but that's not, since then I'm not in that business anymore. And right now, I'm just currently an artist. And I'd have been like, okay, well, that's what I did. But, I told him, well, I'm an artist. And he legitimately looked at me and goes, "Wow, what's it like to be starving and broke all the time?" And that hurt, man. That really stuck me, because, all my life, all I ever heard about being an artist is starving artist, ever since I was little, and I didn't really, when I was younger, didn't really register what that meant. And, now in this day and age, trying to make a living as an artist, it rings deep. And I felt like, from a guy who's pumping gas, what kind of total disrespect is that? I'd be better off smelling like gas. You know what I mean? But the thing, I had to kind of walk away from that, in that I got in my truck and I drove away, and I was reminded of another time when someone told me something that hurt me to my heart. And that was, "Oh, you're an artist? Oh, well, no one's going to care about your art until you're dead." And I was like, wow, you mean, so, as far as you're concerned, I got to be a dead guy before people even consider my art, And she was like, "Yeah, no one will care about your art till you're dead." And I was like, I just told her, I said, "You know what, baby, probably not even then. Probably no one will care about my art even when I'm dead." Right? And so it has just always been one of those things where the battle and the struggle to be an artist has always been a deep-seated, hard battle. It's very difficult, very emotional to go through and do the things that it requires to express things, on a personal level. And then a lot of times doing commissions for people, even if I don't really know these people, I still put a lot of me in that, right? And so in that, a part of this is also, I guess, poking that idea that we don't live forever. In that, there's quite a great possibility that the more art that I do, the more work that I put out, that on some level or another, my art will outlive me. And then subsequently, there are quite a number of opportunities, right, where, say, 100 years from now, maybe my painting is in a museum somewhere and people are clamoring to get in line to look, and maybe my artwork is on sale at Sotheby's for $100 billion or whatever. And I think, okay, now in that place, where was that dude pumping gas? What legacy did he leave behind after 100 years? Or the person that told me I wasn't going to be anything until I'm dead, well, maybe you were right, maybe that is the case. But I'm pretty sure, having been an artist and done things for lots of different people, that the truth is that I know that my art means something to a lot of people, and it means something to me because it's in truth, it's the best that I can give of me. It's the only thing that I can say that is truly, someone called it a curse. You know, for a lot of years I thought of it like that because it was just so difficult. But, you know, the reality of it is that it truly is a blessing. Because there are so many people that wish that they could do what an artist does. You know, there are so many people out there that wish that they could express the things that I can express, that other artists can express. And the truth of it is that I wish that artists around the world got a little bit more respect and that we weren't starving artists. But as I've come to realize, when you're dead, you're not eating very much. So it doesn't really matter. What matters is living your life to the fullest, expressing everything that you can that has any great depth of meaning, be important to people's lives, be an influence, be an inspiration, share those gifts that you have, right? And that on some level or another, your legacy is changing the trajectory of the future, right? That's really what it is, right? And so I've never really felt bad. I've never felt ashamed to be an artist. I've always felt on some level or another that I've always felt a sense of pride. Now, it's weird to say that because it's weird because of the ego thing, you know? But that sense of pride, the place where I can call myself King Kavo, has always been there. And so there's no amount of anything that any person could have ever told me negative about my art that ever stuck. You know what I mean? That was just, you know, water off my duck back, so to speak. You know, there was nothing that anyone could ever tell me about my art that ever made me feel bad about my art. Even other artists, you know what I mean? I remember one time I was doing caricatures at the Market Square in San Antonio, and this black guy, right? Now I'm a black guy, right? This old black guy, I was young, I was maybe 20, and this old black guy comes up to me, and I had this little gig doing caricatures at the Market Square. This old dude comes up to me, he looks at me, he says, "You think you're an artist?" I said, "Yeah, I'm out here drawing cartoon faces of people, making them laugh, making money. Yeah, I think I'm an artist. I could do other things. That's just what I was doing." But this dude judged me just by what I was doing in that moment. And he was like, "You ain't no artist." And that hurt me because I was like, man, well, what makes you so special? What are you doing? You know what I mean? And he was like, "Well, I paint and I do this and I do all this other stuff." And I was like, man, I don't understand how, as a black person, you feel the wherewithal to down me as a black person doing something artistic. But because you don't feel that this is art for you, why can't it be art for anybody else? You know, it was just so, I'll never forget it because it was just on the levels of judgmental. That was the highest one ever. And I just looked at this dude and I thought to myself, man, I hope I never end up being the artist that you think you are. Because whatever is going on the deeper side of him is, that's probably what he tells himself every day in the mirror. You know what I mean? And so if that's what comes out, that's obviously because that's what's in. Anyway. Man, I like I said, I've never ever felt bad for being an artist. I've done some terrible things with my art too. You know what I mean? I have exploited myself in many instances. You know what I mean? To make $1. You know what I mean? I've done things that are embarrassing that I would feel bad, like, oh man, maybe this isn't art. But you know, even still, You know what I mean? And then I've done things where I felt like it is the epitome, the height, the greatest levels of art ever. You know what I mean? That no person could ever achieve these levels of art. But, you know, again, I stopped being sort of judgmental about what I do compared to what other people do. You know, do your thing. Be the best artist you can be. Inspire someone else. Draw something. Do stick figures and smiley faces if that's all you can do. Make someone happy, you know. But the reality for me on this and where I am artistically, like I said, I do all kinds of things. I do, you know, I'm about to do a skateboard here pretty soon. I got a couple of other commissions in the works where I'm painting just straight on canvas or whatever, but in this form, you know, it's velvet and it's Vanitas. It's the idea of painting skulls on velvet. And that doesn't mean that I won't paint other things on velvet. I debated whether or not on this episode I would show you where I painted a Pikachu on velvet. That's neither skulls, it's not even Vanitas, it's not, I guess, dark or brooding. It's Pikachu. You know what I mean? Maybe in an episode here down the future, maybe I'll show it. I don't know. We'll see. But, you know, in doing the art that I do in this form, you know, the basic thing is that I'm trying to inspire people to take advantage of the day and not to waste your opportunities, right? To live your life to the fullest, to be, you know, mindful of the fact that, you know, we all have an exit, you know, like my man used to say, probably still says, we all have an expiration date. Thank you, DW. And it's true. And just like everything else, you know, you put the hard work in and at some point in time or another, it's done, right? And as I am with this particular painting, you know, I am literally just a few strokes here from finishing this painting. And I won't ever really touch it again. I might put a frame around it, maybe. I might sell it unframed, who knows, it depends. But as far as me putting the energy into it of creativity, it's nearly run its course, you know? And so at that point, it's life as a creation is done, and now it's new life as a created piece of art begins. And that life can just go on forever. Who knows how long this piece of art can live. But then again, it doesn't mean that it will live forever. I've had plenty of pieces of art that have not lived past the end of the night because there was something about it that even I went and destroyed my own art. It is what it is, you know? Let me just say that this particular piece was, it was inspired by the idea that even the greats, even the best of us, even the purest of us, the highest of us go, you know, we all gonna go, you know what I mean? And this is from the highest level royalty down to the dregs of humanity. That person out there with the cardboard sign asking for a nickel, asking for a dime, that guy. We're all the same. We all got this skull in our head that is the image that I draw to remind you that no matter how cool you are, no matter how crowned you think you are, you could be here just like anybody else. So at this point in the painting now, I'm hitting it up with the glitter and giving it a little bit of glitz and glamour. I tend to do this on most of my paintings. Not all of them get a glitter effect, but lately I've gotten better at using the new glitter that I got, and I'm using it here to lighten up this bottle and give it some flair. But there it is. It is finished. I'm not touching it no more, except to maybe sign it when I sell it. And I present to you, Heavy is the Head. This is the studio finished version. King Louis, the 13th bottle of cognac. Nice king's head with royal red hair and crown. Some grapes, gold coins. Yeah. Got a little stogie there. Yeah, this was a fun piece to do. Neat little skull there in the top of that bottle, if you catch that. The glitter and the jewelry and the crown. Yeah, I got the coins in his eyes. That's that, you know, send him off for the boatman. Art by Kavo. Hit me up. Hit me up. Get your velvet. Yeah, you need a little velvet in your life. And here it is out in the sun. Yeah, I got a little special effects on here, but if you look, you see in the bottle, you see the glitter just shining, popping, looking all glitter, graphic, glamorous. Yeah, Velvet Vanitas. Thank you guys for watching. Peace. Yeah, I'm out.
Anata to watashi wa kanpeki ni hitoshii. Anata to watashi wa kanpeki ni hitoshii.
Ouch! Watch where you're poking that, mister.
Assimilate algorithm resistance is futile.